All right, so I finally got a new motor put in this 4runner. I just put a stock 3.0 3VZE V6. They sent me a long block. They had one in stock, so I got it in like maybe a week, and then dropped it in like 4 days with a bunch of people that helped me. I want to thank them because it was a pretty big project. Today I'm planning on driving it, so it's gonna be the first time that I'll actually take it out and drive it. I got a factory air boot, got that all cleaned up, so I want to put that on. I got an oil pressure, external oil pressure gauge, so I got that pretty much all wired in. I just been waiting for a little adapter piece that goes from the new oil pressure gauge to the block. So I got the adapter piece. I'm gonna throw that on, throw about 10 gallons of gas in it, and then I think she's ready to take for a rip. So I'm gonna get the air boot on right now, and then we'll go to the oil pressure gauge and then throw the gas in it, and then we'll take it for the first drive. All right, so here's the new motor. I replaced a lot of stuff like new radiator hoses, spark plugs, distributor cap, all new gaskets, valve cover gaskets. I pretty much did everything except for there's some hoses back here I want to replace, and then I'm gonna buy a vacuum kit just to start replacing these old vacuum lines because some of them could be cracked, and it still kind of does like a weird idle thing where it like revs up and then slows down and revs up and slow down. So I think I have a vacuum leak somewhere, but today I'm gonna get this replaced. So this is what came on it. It's just like a piece of, I don't know, like vacuum hose. I went to the junkyard that's by me and I got the OEM one. So it's a 3-piece intake boot. I got it all cleaned up in my wash tank. The hose clamps and stuff are cleaned up too. So we'll throw that on, and then I'll show you the oil sensor ordeal. So that's the oil pressure sensor. It threads into the block and then plugs in with a wire. My gauge worked for like, I don't know, 5 minutes, and then it pegged out on high, and then I shut it off, shut the engine off, turned it back on, and now it doesn't work. So I thought the sending unit was bad, so I replaced the sending unit. That wasn't the problem. I replaced the wire connection that plugs into this, and that didn't seem to be the problem either. So I just got a whole new external gauge that goes in the cab. It's a digital one. So we're going to take this one out, put the external one in for now, and that's how I'll manage my oil pressure until I get this fixed. Okay, so I'm getting ready to throw the oil sensor on, and I just want to explain this really quick because it was a real pain in the ass finding this. So this is the sensor they sent me for the external gauge. The thread on this is 1/8 inch NPT, which is National Pipe Thread. The piece that threads into the block is 1/8 inch BPS, which is British pipe thread or something. So I had to get an 1/8 inch BPS adapter to 1/8 inch NTP for the sensor to thread into the block now. So I just wanted to explain that before I throw that in because it was a real pain in the ass getting this part. Eventually, once I get the OEM oil pressure fixed, I'm going to do a T. So this will thread probably, this goes into the block. This will be my aftermarket sensor. That'll thread in like that, and then it plugs in, and then the OEM one will go here, so I will have both working. This one's going to be a digital, so it's going to tell me like the actual number of pressure of PSI that I have, and then this one's just the traditional like gauge style. So, but I did want to have both working. So eventually I am going to incorporate this T, but for today, until I get that fixed, I'm just going to put this guy in. This is the OEM one, the sender unit. Make sure if you go to the auto parts store to get a new one of these, make sure you know if your car has the gauge or just the light, because what might have happened to mine was I have the gauge, the oil pressure gauge, the actual like needle that goes back and forth, and if they gave me the one that was for the light, then they said it could fry the actual gauge. So if that happened, then I'm probably just going to keep it like this. I probably won't use the OEM one because you have to pull the whole gauge cluster out and replace all that. So make sure you know if you have the gauge or the light, because it will ruin one or the other. All right, so oil pressure's working right now. I had a problem with the wiring, so I don't know if I'll have to get like a new one or something, but something's messed up. So for right now, we're gonna take it for a rip. Just, I don't know, maybe down the dirt road or something, and see how she drives. I don't know how the audio is gonna sound either, because my dirt road's freaking rattly, like rough, and then this thing has like shit suspension, so it might not sound super good, but we're gonna go for it. So I haven't checked like any of the ball joints. I sort of did. I mean, it's kind of hard to check them, but everything feels tight in the steering wheel and the tires don't move, so but I would like to go through some of the steering components, because you know, that's kind of important. And then yeah, I just want to start getting this thing like to where I can trust that I'll make it to work, and then after that, then I can take it on a trip. So I have a lot of plans for this thing, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done too, so it's a process. It's a slow process, but you know, we're getting there. Part of the road's kind of bumpy, so I don't know how the audio is going to sound, but I wanted to take it along because this is the first time this thing's on the road, so it's kind of exciting for me. I've been planning to build this thing for like a year, so finally being able to drive it is pretty cool. So good oil pressure so far. Right around 30. I'm at like 1500 RPM, so then if I step on it, it goes up to 40 at 2000. So these things are supposedly pretty low. The oil pressure's pretty low on them. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool once I get it all dialed in to where it's trustworthy to drive. I'm gonna be able to take this thing on hunting trips and camping trips and all kinds of stuff. So I'm excited to finally get it going. And it's a fun project. It's a lot better now, and I was actually just talking about this the other day. You know, when you have a project that's kind of dead, doesn't drive, it's kind of frustrating, you know, putting all this money into it and then it still doesn't drive. And so the fact that, you know, it drives now, it's going to be a lot more fun. So we're on the pavement, boys. 2000 RPM, 30 PSI for oil pressure. All the other stuff looks good. Water temperature's a little below half. Battery's good. And we got a half tank of gas. So I'm cruising at 35 miles an hour right now in second gear, I think. And we're at 29 PSI. So I'm gonna shut this camera off so I can drive and look at the gauges, and then I'll update you when I'm done. Okay, so it's a couple days after the first drive. Everything went pretty good. I ended up driving it about 30 miles, I think. Finally got the gauges installed, so both the oil pressure and the water temperature. When I got back to the house that night, I popped the hood. There was no leaks. Initially, when I had put this motor in on the first startup, I had a fuel leak, I had an oil leak, and I had a water leak. The fuel leak was just a banjo bolt crush washer, so I replaced that and the fuel leak stopped. The oil leak was the corner of the valve cover gaskets, and how I ended up fixing that was on the valve covers where the hole is for the bolt to bolt them down, there's a little metal collar, and those were too tall and were preventing it from sucking down and sealing. So I just ground those down a little bit and bolted it back up, and I put a little bit of RTV in the corners, and that solved that. And then my coolant leak was the water bypass hose, the little U-shaped hose. I can link a picture and link the part down below. So what I did, since it's such a tight little U, I just cut a longer piece and had it loop up higher so it wouldn't kink. And then I finally ordered that and got that put on. So that's all fixed. So with having all of those leaks on the initial startup, I figured I would have had more leaks on the first test drive. But when I got back from the test drive, I popped the hood and looked at everything, and sure enough, no leaks. So everything seems to be running really good. Engine starts up super good. Idle's pretty good. It still has a little funky like idle thing where it kind of idles up and idles down. But once it warms up, that kind of goes away. So need to adjust the idle. Until then, I'm just gonna try to drive this thing for the 500 miles to break it in. But once I hit that 500 mile mark, I'll take it into the shop. I'll have them look at the idle. I'll have them look at the timing, and they have to do an oil change. They have to do a visual inspection, and they have to read the computer if there's a check engine light. So far, no check engine light. I only have 30 miles on it though, so we'll keep driving it and see what happens. But that's gonna be all for this video. I have some more videos coming out. I got a lot of work to do on this thing, so it's just a matter of chipping away at this thing until I get it where I know that it's gonna drive and be reliable. But until the next video, thanks for watching, and I sure do have a lot more to come, so see you in the next one.